Okay, abusia yabema kwa ba sonko so edeba Ghana Politics Avenue so abusia yembonra yensemu breaking news bi aba eno na ya project ede ato your screen no enchen ede amamono Interior Minister orders probe into alleged assassination attempt on Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejaben abusia yaba aba be breaki ede amamo so Kisi Ejaben wa escape assassination attacker ebusuya ye breaki edemam sisi anon Interior Minister intervene sisi an investigations ekoso sisi anon OSP Kisi Ejaben allegedly the life no is in danger ebusuya mom yanko na yanko nkuti ensema ekoso unsubscribe subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enkebi Ghana Politics Avenue so bedamase.
Now, this afternoon, the Interior Minister Muntaka Mubarak has ordered immediate investigations into claims of assassination attempts against the life of the Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejaben in the discharge of his duties. Director of Strategy, Research and Communications at the Office of the Special Prosecutor Sami Darko over the weekend mentioned the attempt on the life of the SP while also claiming he had been handcuffed and beaten by 17 police personnel. According to a statement issued by the Interior Minister, such dangers to personnel of accountability institutions, if true, can undermine the government's efforts to combat corruption, which has intensified since it took office. The ministry has therefore taken up the matter with seriousness it deserves. Here are some preliminary findings on the alleged assassination. We can take you through that. Mawena, what are we learning from the Interior Minister in whole?
And we understand that since the claims were made from the weekend, contacts have been made with the person of the Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejaben. And this is what the Interior Minister or Ministry is telling us, that initial contact with Mr. Kisi Ejaben have revealed that the assassination attempt on him, as claimed, happened before this year, which presupposes it wasn't the NDC administration which was then in power when these attempts were made on the life of the Special Prosecutor Kisi Ejaben. There is no record or report of such threats against his life at any police station or at any of the state security agencies in the country, which is quite puzzling, considering that attempts were made on his life. And until this weekend, there was no
knowledge of it.
No knowledge. And in fact, not reported at any police station or any of the state security agencies as well is important and worthy of taking note. Now, the ministry, we understand, has further, or the minister has further directed a number of actions to be taken. That since crime does not expire, there ordered a full-scale investigation into the claim of assassination attempt. The ministry has also ordered an investigation into the claim by Mr. Sami Darko that he was handcuffed and beaten by 17 police personnel. And the ministry says that they will update the public on the outcome of these investigations and the actions to be taken. The Ministry of Interior reiterates its commitment to protecting all lives and properties to ensure that all Ghanaians can conduct all their lawful affairs without any fear for their safety. And that's the latest. That's just coming through from the Interior Minister and the ministry. And again, worthy of note, these aspects of the release by the Interior Minister, that the contacts made suggest that these attempts were made on his life before this year.
Took office.
There is no record or report of such threats against his life at any police station or at any of the state security agencies in the country. And where is the Interior Ministry getting all of this from? Contacts with Mr. Kisi Ejaben is where they are getting all of this from, and say they are going to investigate not just this, the attempt on his life, but the claim as well by Mr. Sami Darko that he was handcuffed and beaten by 17 police personnel.
I mean, and then it also begs the question, why was this not reported? Why was it never made known during that period when this happened? Because being handcuffed and beaten by 17 police personnel is no small business.
Absolutely.
Right.
And what was the basis as well for his handcuff and the assault on him by 17 police personnel? And the number is well rounded, 17. What was the justification, the cause of action, reason for which 17 police personnel handcuffed him and assaulted him? We don't understand from this whether or not that as well was reported to the police or any of the state security agencies. That's not quite clear from this as well.
Absolutely.
But the ministry says all of that is to be investigated and the public updated in a short while.
Indeed, which makes this investigation very important.
Absolutely.
Because this is the office of the special prosecutor. It's a high office, an ombudsman of corruption. So it's important that we get to the bottom of this, not only to protect Kisi Ejabeng, but whoever occupies that office in the future. But we'll stay on this subject because government spokesperson says President Mahama does not intend scrapping the office of the special prosecutor. We can take a listen to the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwakye-Ofosu.
Has abused his powers in this matter. And I will not hesitate. I will not hesitate to say that this house, we created the office. And the office of the special prosecutor, if he continues to abuse his powers, then we may have to abrogate it. We shall be inviting him to come and brief the house the circumstances under which he will detain a citizen under such whimsical circumstances.
Mr. Speaker, the office has been in existence for how many years now? Close to 8 years. Tell me what is really the achievement of that office. I believe that it is high time that this Parliament reconsiders its decision to approve the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor. I think that we should abolish it.
Unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, like we say in Twi, etua onyonku mua, etua duem, etua uhumu dia, etua nipem. To wit, Mr. Speaker, when it happens to somebody and he's complaining about it, you see absolutely nothing wrong with it. When it happens to you, now you complain. So, Mr. Speaker, if he wants to invite the special prosecutor to come and answer why his friend, and today he's complaining because it is his friend, but perhaps our advice will be that all the other investigative bodies that are being weaponized, which have been complained about, which they turn a blind eye and a blind ear to, maybe, Chief Whip, you should add it.
And if you recall, during the deliberation on the OSP, a number of us stated on the floor of this House that there's no constitutional basis. We cannot continue to allocate that huge sums to the same office when we are not getting the results. This is one of the agencies we should be looking at.
Let me say that, again, Ghanaians are free to run commentary on public office holders and what they perceive to be their outputs. So if someone is of the view that a similar treatment ought to be meted out to the office of the special prosecutor, they are entitled to hold such a view.
But as a
government, as far as I sit here, the one who will call such a shot will be the president himself, because the OSP's office was created by law. So I'm sure a process to reverse him should not be difficult to identify. But as I sit here, let me indicate and state for the avoidance of doubt that I have had no indication or communication from the president. But I'm saying that in terms of the right of those individuals to express their views about the OSP and the functional necessity of that office, they are entitled to those views. The OSP was set up by law. So any move to the contract would have to go through due process and law.
That's Felix Kwakye-Ofosu, Minister for Government Communication. Let's speak to the majority Chief Whip, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo, who's also a private legal practitioner as well. Mr. Nelson, I appreciate you speaking to us this afternoon. There's a position of government, which has just been espoused by Felix, that there's no intention whatsoever by President Mahama to have the office of the Special Prosecutor scrapped. Yet you in Parliament, and when I say Parliament, I mean the majority of you who are NDC MPs are arguing a possible scrapping of the office. Your position and that of government not in tandem. How do you reconcile this?
I think the question you should ask is, why is Parliament interested in looking into the circumstances under which the rights of citizens are abused by the Office of the Special Prosecutor and the litany of allegations against the OSP and its operatives? And that if we get to a stage where we have to abrogate or abolish the office by way of statute, a lot of members of Parliament, including members from the other side, were in support. I think that is the question you should ask. Nobody is in competition with government over this matter. The call to abolish the office or otherwise is emanating purely from Parliament. This has nothing to do with government. It is Parliament that is making this call, supported by no mean a person than the Speaker of the House. So these are very serious, but these are very formidable issues that Parliament is raising. So don't knock the head of Parliament and the executive together in this matter. It is Parliament that is making the call. The issue we should interrogate is whether or not the call is in order.
Which we will get into right now, because the basis for the call by the legislature and its members is that what? The office has not lived up to expectation?
Of course. We have just approved over 250 million Ghana cedis for the work of the OSP for its activities in 2026. And members are asking that the OSP has essentially not delivered on its mandate. The budget that OSP has been given is similar to the budget given the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. And the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice has offices in every regional capital in this country. They have state attorneys dotted in every regional capital in this country. The OSP operates from only Accra. So these are the real issues that Parliament is considering. That it appears that we are putting a lot of resources into the activities of the OSP, and we are not getting the requisite output from the office, from the operations of the office. And if that is the case, then it appears that the office is not serving its purpose.
Comments like these.
Hold on. And therefore, it is Parliament that set the office up. And so Parliament can decide that we can then abolish it.
There are colleague former members of Parliament who make the argument that, look, comments like these only serve in detracting in the fight against corruption. What the office needs is the support of Ghanaians and the support of the legislature in being able to deal with corruption. In fact, the office is of the opinion that, look, they are fighting corruption and they've touched one of the political elites. That's why this uproar and all of these calls are coming up, because the system is set up such that when you go after the juggernauts, the big individuals, then you're stoking the flames and calls like these will come up.
It is absolutely not founded. The office is set up to investigate corruptions amongst politically exposed persons, public office holders, as well as private persons. So the mandate of the OSP to look into corruption and corruption-related matters is not only limited to politicians. So that argument will hold water. Number two, that is not the government of the case. The government of the case of Parliament is that the OSP for the past 7 or 8 years hasn't delivered on its mandate. And yet, millions and millions and millions of Ghana cedis has been pumped into its operations.
When you say delivered on its mandates, that's subjective, because the office says they've undertaken investigations which has prevented instances of corruption. In the SML case, for instance, they continue to defend the fact that their investigations has led to the blocking of some $2 billion in excess to be paid to SML. They've had convictions in some parts where people have paid back monies to the state, amongst many other things. And there are high-profile cases which are being investigated. Surely, you know the criminal justice system of this country takes a while. And so you should afford them some breathing space and give them the support to nail these persons.
Is the OSP saying that they are unable to prosecute cases for which they have conducted investigations? Is that what they are saying? Vis-a-vis the amount of resources we are pumping into the Office of the Attorney General and the number of prosecutions we get from the Office of the Attorney General. You see, we are not saying that prosecute people and willy-nilly jail them. That's not the issue. But when you have conducted investigations, people want to see prosecution and let people defend themselves before the law courts. Let evidence be led and recanted. For instance, the OSP will commence investigations and midway, the OSP says that they no longer are interested, and so they are offloading the matter to another investigative body. These are the issues that Parliament is raising. And recently, it's about abuse of the powers of the OSP. When lawyers are invited willingly to the office of the OSP, the rights of those lawyers get abused. These are the real issues. These are the issues.
Right.
So Parliament is not making this call whimsically. Parliament is standing on a certain terra firma.
Right.
To make this call.
Right. I just want to pick your thoughts on the latest that came from the weekend as well over claims of assassination against the life of the OSP. Does Parliament or is Parliament minded by these revelations even as you proceed to make the calls, because these are lives that are involved, and I'm sure it will be of interest to Parliament that all individuals are protected by the state?
By all means, so I'm not hearing of the matter. I've just spotted the statement issued. If there's any evidence about any persons or group of miscreants who have attempted to harm the special prosecutor, by all means, let the matter be looked into. But look, the OSP is a very well protected office and its staffers. The OSP drives in a bulletproof vehicle. So he's a very well secured and protected public officer. So if there is any such attempt, by all means, we encourage the authorities to look into it.
Right.
And the life of every citizen, public or private, in this republic matters.
Right.
Everybody deserves to be protected.
Right. Finally, from me, these conversations about the scrapping of the office, what would you say? It's just its formative days, or this is something that you're seeking to come up with a private member's bill to push to in say, early part of next year? Other timelines to these conversations within the walls of Parliament?
This is a matter that I initiated in Parliament, supported by the majority leader, supported by a lot of MPs on the other side, and eventually also pronounced upon by the Speaker himself. So these are very, very weighty matters. So we are not making these issues whimsically. We intend to come by a private members bill to deal with the issues, and nobody should underrate the power of Parliament to do so.
Right, and Honourable, I appreciate you speaking to us this afternoon. That's Roxanne Nelson Dapiamekbo. He is the Majority Chief Whip, speaking to us this afternoon on the office of the Special Prosecutor and what is Parliament's move to have it scrapped following a dissatisfaction with the work put in since it's...
Okay, abusia we ne ensema ekoso ewo political highway so OSP kisi ejabe and I Interior Minister with immediate effect investigations Babe koso on OSP alleged assassination. Abusia we ne ensema e course. Ebadamase some jepene kokoti sa ensem we e de MI. Ghana Politics Avenue so. Bedamase.